Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where I get to follow along as we figure out how to build products and recover from burnout. I'm Benedict.
And I'm Brian. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we figure things out. Today is June 15th. I am in Wells, Maine, and I am feeling completely, utterly exhausted.
This is episode number 95, and I'm feeling busy. And I'm also feeling like there's someone else on the show today.
Who is that over there?
That would be Benedicte, and I am in Oslo, actually on the fjord in a boathouse tonight for date night. And I am right now feeling super excited, but earlier this week I was very tired.
I'm sensing a theme here. So, Brian, why are you exhausted? What's up?
Well, as I think we're going to cut it out of the episode, but I mean, I have had great coverage. We were watching Netflix last night, completely fine. Then we get on here to try to record this podcast, and my connection just drops out of nowhere. Yes, like it has just been too much the past couple of weeks. Like I think I shared, launch itself was pretty stressful. The basement started flooding like literally hours before we were supposed to pull out of the driveway. But over this past week, we were getting ready to leave one of our sites, and the brakes on the trailer on the fifth wheel were not responding to the truck. The brakes, of all things. And so
that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, that's suboptimal to say the least. We were never in any danger. It's not like we were, flying downhill like because it's that the brakes on the truck, are really strong. It will slow the trailer down, but it's basically like, you've either got somebody in a radio flyer behind your bicycle that doesn't have their feet on the ground, or they do. And so that's what we had. So we had to take the trailer and the truck to some repair shop in Buffalo, New York, and get that looked at. It wasn't an immediate and obvious fix. Hit the pocketbook, pretty fair amount. And we stayed in just the shadiest hotel in Buffalo. Like, I mean, my wife watched a drug deal go down, and like it was just shady, y'all. And then when we finally did get on the road and started making our way out here, we're like going through mountain roads. It's raining. We finally arrived. The campsite that they assigned to us was too small. It was like a 2-hour ordeal to get a site that would work, to get this giant thing fit in there. And then when I did, the leveling system on the trailer wasn't working, airing out, and it was just like, okay, I'm tapping out. I'm over it. I'm over it. So that's just like a reality check right now. I'm just so worn out and exhausted from every little thing to try to get this going. There's always something. So
how long have you been on the road?
2 weeks and a day. And so like that's on the one hand, Benedicte, it's like, okay, yeah, 2 weeks and a day. I mean, come on. It takes some time to get into the routine. That's true. What it feels like right now in this moment is, oh my gosh, we've only been doing this for 2 weeks. We have another 13 and a half months of this. No. What have we done? This was a huge mistake. So it's like, both sides of the brain, there. And only time will tell. Like we will be a month down the road looking back on the first 2 weeks and laughing about it, the way that you tend to do after you get through a stressful and tiring thing. Or we'll be, a month down the road and just like, God, this is not getting easy. Why isn't this getting easier yet? So, but right now, just all of my mental energy is just completely consumed. So I'm just at the end of my rope. I'm totally at the end of my rope, but hanging in. I think FDR said, when you get to the end of the rope, tie a knot and hang on. So that's where I'm at.
Do you have any way to like pull out, or is this has to happen for the next 13 months?
No. I mean, we have renters in our house. And so there's like, that's good in the sense that, we're on the other side of a gate that we can't open back up. And so it's like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have that option. Like we're going to continue on and find a way to make this work and just appreciate, okay, this feels really, really stressful in the moment, but no bad feeling lasts for forever. And it's just that we just gotta get into a routine and into a rhythm. And so, I mean, schedule wise, the other major thing that I have to remind myself is that the first 2 weeks of this journey are nothing like what the whole thing is going to be. Like we were doing a bunch of 1 night, 2 night, 3 night stops to get out here, but now we're here for 6 days. The next place we go to, it's only like 120 miles away, and we're staying there for 10 days. And then the next place we go to is really close by. We're staying there for like 7 days, I think, or something. And so those multiple, longer stays, I think is just going to offer some rest for everybody. But, oh man, yeah, I gotta, at the moment, I'm just like so tired of trying to figure things out. Anyway,
yeah, I could totally imagine this being hard. But it's not to the state where you're basically rescheduling the entire trip and like replanning and like cutting down on places to visit or something like that. It's not as bad yet, is it?
I'm trying to hold off on making any like decisions until we've had a chance to settle in for these next 16 days. Like we have 2 lengthy stays here in front of us. And so let's reassess on the other side of that, because I mean, that is, I think that is a part of it that is definitely could be on the table is, okay, there's no way that we can do this, anything close to this pace. So we need to reassess. Like we thought that we were going to make it all the way around the country and up into Banff over, 14 months. No, like we got to reassess that's totally on the table. That's within our control. And so we'll see.
Because your longest stay so far is like, or the plan is to stay the longest, like 7-10 days.
Well, it's kind of a mix, but at this point from here through, I think like December, we don't have any, or maybe we only have like a handful of stays that are shorter than 4 days. Whereas up until literally right now, none of our stays have been longer than 4. So it's just gonna be a different pace. And so trying to make decisions about the future based on what the past 2 weeks have been like, it's just not fair to the plan, because this is just completely different, and ironing out all the kinks, and oh boy. Yeah. It's just been one thing. Oh, and I didn't even tell you this part. Like when the truck and trailer were at the repair shop, the family was at the hotel, and so I was like, well, I might as well get some projects done in the trailer that I've been wanting to do. So I'm inside the trailer, 80-something degrees, sweating like crazy. I look outside, and the mechanic is like, done. He's diagnosed everything, replaced all this stuff. Sweet, done. Then I start hearing a beeping from the kitchen, and I go in there, and the refrigerator is beeping an error code, and I Google it, and everybody's like, "Yep, you got to replace the fridge."
Oh no!
I was just like, "Are you kidding? Are you kidding?" Then, after just completely resetting the electric system and putting a different battery on, the error code went away. And so for now, we're just like, okay, we'll take it. if it shows back up, then we'll be angry. But for now, at least, it seems like it was just something that needed to you just needed to, turn off the Nintendo and blow on the cartridge, and now it's fine. But that felt like just like a kick to the neck, like, yay, we're done. Beep, beep, beep.
Perfect timing.
Anyway, so yeah, that's me. I feel it in my stomach right now just talking about it. I feel it in my body. So just gotta settle in and get through it.
Any wins though? Any like good moments on the road?
Well, yeah, I mean, for sure. Like we, the kids swam in Lake Michigan, and we saw some family that lives in Chicago that we wouldn't have seen otherwise. We've seen some incredible rivers, and I got to fish a river that I would never have been to. So like there's these little things that are just showing up. That's like, okay, if we could just have a better balance of bliss and stress, then this will be amazing. So far, the balance has been off, but Benedicte, there are definitely enough glimpses. It's like,
just had to ask. I had to ask.
Oh, good. I needed that. Like I needed that right there. So I'll make my other updates super quick, because I want to hear what y'all are up to. On the board game, on the backpack side of things, we've got artwork underway, and there are a handful of contests that we're going to submit it to, that have like decent deadlines, like end of July, end of August, where no expectation. Like the purpose of those things is not to like place in the contest, but the purpose of it is that you get very direct feedback about your rule book and about your sell sheet, your one pager. And so we're super excited about that. We've Graham and I have a call scheduled for tomorrow to finally sync back up. That feels very life-giving and really, really exciting. And then on the work side of things, like, man, I was just feeling all this momentum. Things were super great, and I've just made no progress. It's just been impossible to get into the flow over at least the last couple days, last couple weeks. But what I feel like there is like, I feel like I need to commit to shipping something. And so you two, when I was walking around this campground, and gosh, I don't even know where I was. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Indiana. Listening to y'all's interview, and Benedicte, you were just talking about like your decision to commit to the live stream, and just going to do it. I'm just going to say that I'm going to be here at this time. Like giving myself like neck strains, nodding up and down so hard, like, yes, that's what I need. I need a commitment to shipping something on a regular basis. So that really resonated with me, because I need to recapture that momentum and that belief that I was feeling there. So that's my objective over these next 3 weeks, where we'll have a lot of stability and only one move, is just to really, really settle in. So, okay.
But we also, at a mastermind that I've attended, there was also somebody who had struggled to have momentum. And I think we talked with her about it could be good to just like commit to doing like even just half an hour coding every day on the project, or something that you definitely can.
Yes.
Like it could even be 15 minutes. But if you get those 15 minutes in every day, then at least like you feel like something is moving forward, and you can't really not do 15 minutes, even with like kids and moving and trailers and breaks and all of that. Yes. And I think that really resonated with her, because then she just like got started, instead of it being this thing where it's like, well, I need at least 4 hours to get, ahead on this feature. She could just sit down and like do 15 minutes and then she got into it again.
Yeah. It's like the way James Clear talks about, stringing together streaks, like just put together streaks. And you're so right. So many times I like tell myself that lie of, well, I don't have 2 hours to get into the zone here. And a lot of times that's just an excuse. Fine, just do 15 minutes, just do 30 minutes. And
I have to remind
get
myself
much
of that all the time too, because I also like, and then I'd lose momentum, and then I have to like remind myself too, 15 minutes is good enough like if I can just do that before I head on out and do other stuff, and then you kind of build up momentum again.
Yes.
Yeah. It's also that's a good one. Especially as if you overcommit in terms of like I have to do like 4-hour streaks or whatever, that's kind of stupid because it's like a big challenge. But like if you just keep it small, even as I said, like 15 minutes, like so much easier to fit it into your work day or whatever, and
I also find that
less daunting.
I also feel like my work is actually often better if I don't give myself too much time, because at least I, as a coder, when I give myself 4 hours, I suddenly start refactoring the whole freaking app. But if I only have 30 minutes, it's like I can just do one incremental improvement instead of like rethinking everything, which is like what I often do when I have too much time on my hand. But anywho, that was a suggestion from me.
I like it. Great suggestion. Benedict, what's happening? And what's going on?
I have another suggestion to add. It's just like don't sweat it. Like I'm surprised that you even tried to do some work in those early 2 weeks. Like if I were you, I'd just like not worry about it and just focus on this one thing and get that one figured out before trying to layer another responsibility on top of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I probably am trying to do too much at one time. I think the reason that it feels important for me is that one thing I know about myself is that inertia is just huge for me. Like once I get slowed down and stopped, it's really hard for me to get myself moving again. I'm kind of susceptible to I'm susceptible to just stillness and calm and depression, as I've shared here, like that plays into it. Whereas if I can just get the ball rolling, then that's just this, positive reinforcing loop, and where I start to, I feel unstoppable. And so I maybe sometimes overreact and try to never let myself get stopped because I'm afraid of not being able to get the ball rolling again. But you're probably right. I should seriously just try to stop doing so much and not sweat it. Yeah, that'll be maybe that will be my other mantra for the next 16 days is code for 15 minutes and then don't sweat it.
Combine the advice.
Yes, exactly.
And then you live stream those 15 minutes so you do them, right?
Better or worse?
I'm not entirely sure if live streaming is the correct thing for you to do with
especially when I can't
with
even
the connection troubles.
When I can't even get a podcast recorded.
No, that was mostly a joke, just to be clear.
Mostly, but not entirely.
Talking about live streams, what's been up with you, Benedicte?
Yeah, so I started last week, that would be Monday, live streaming with you, actually. We did a migrating to userlist live stream, which was awesome. Yay! But then, even though we were two Benedicts and doubly blessed, I managed to show some secrets for like a split second, and I need to blur that out, and YouTube is not cooperating with me. So when you live stream to YouTube, you can do some editing after the fact. You can blur and you can cut, and I just wanted to blur it because then the chat will be intact. The live chat will play next to the video. So I blurred it, and then it processed, and then I looked at it, and it's not blurred. It's only blurred when you kind of see the preview when you scrub back and forth on the timeline. So that was really interesting. Like I could see that it's blurred, the like scrub, like little tiny frame, but not the real frame. So I kind of canceled, because you can do that on YouTube. You go back to your original video, and then I tried last night to blur it again, and it says it's processed finished, so hopefully it's now blurred and will be live again when this podcast goes live. But we never know, because it's YouTube and Google. And Google's editing. It's like, I don't know, the whole live thing, they kind of like put that together, I guess, to compete with Twitch and stuff like that. So it's a little like, I can feel like it's janky at times, but
could you put just like a caption of text in front of it and just a bunch of solid black emoji
The thing is, I can't really. So, like, if this doesn't work this time around either, I'm just gonna download the whole video, edit it like properly, or not edit all of it, but just do like you said, or cut it out and then upload it as a regular video. But I want to keep it as a live video with the chat and everything, and then there's like limited editing possibilities. So we'll see. We'll see with what the Google gods are willing to give me with this editing. We'll see. But then, so that was Monday, and then Tuesday I live streamed my POW status update, which I do every month on the 8th at 8:00. And as always, and I think we talked about it on that live stream show, Benedict, I went into it, was like, I'm just going to skip it this month. Like, I haven't done anything. Like, this is just like, what am I doing? And then I told myself, well, no, you're doing these monthly, so you have to. And I sat down and like, we had done so much because I had help in May. So I had both Ola, my partner, who's a junior dev, working on it. And then I had a senior developer helping me in May, and also a content writer that's been working in May. So I hadn't done that much except like reviewing, except I guess that's a big responsibility as well, like reviewing pull requests. But so Ola had done goals, I think, like goal tracking, and also 404 page. And then Sarah, who's been helping out, has made progress with like uncompleted onboarding. So if you hadn't completed onboarding and went back to the app, now it actually makes sense. Before in POW, you got like nans, not a number kind of things in your interface if you hadn't completed your onboarding. So that is super great. And then also Sarah started on like a big feature that I need to get done, which is a calendar view, which is just another view. So for new listeners, then POW is my menstrual cycle journal app. That's privacy first. So that was great. And also, kind of like you talked about, I guess, Brian, like I felt I've been stuck on that feature for really long, and it's been so nice to get Sarah just to like, she just started without all of like those fairs or kind of like things that has like, I don't know. She just started on it, and it's so much easier for me now, hopefully in June, to just like keep on working on that feature now that it started. I had some like too many IDs, I guess, or like fairs. I don't know, really. Is this a therapy session? Like, how deep should I go? But anyway, she started it. Now I just need to finish it in June. But then I also have another personality, which is an alter ego. I am a Queen Raae of the Nattermob Pirates. So every Friday we do a Gatsby show, which is called Gatsby Deep Dives with Queen Raae and the Nattermob Pirates. And on Friday, we had Kyle Matthews, the founder of Gatsby, on as a guest. So that was super cool.
Very nice.
Yeah. And we talked about Gatsby functions. They are now coming out with their own serverless functions solution, which is super slick, by the way. And I ended up deciding to roll with my YOLO ID. So I've been told I'm too old or young to say YOLO. I don't know, but I don't care. I had this idea of creating a program this summer school program, not really sure exactly what it is yet, but where we're going to be doing Gatsby functions, so like a Gatsby summer of functions. And it's going to be partly free and partly paid to kind of capitalize on that show we've been having, and also to test out some more kind of info product course kind of ideas that I've been having for years, but never really kind of executed on. So we'll see how that goes. But that is super cool. But that means less time for POW. And I had promised myself no more side projects, but now there is going to be a side project to the side project. But POW is also made with Gatsby, so it feels like it's kind of cohesive in a sense. It's not all over the place like I've been in the past, where like I do something completely with another technology or like a completely different thing. So yeah, so that's me. So that's quite a lot actually in a week. Again, I was like, I haven't done anything this week, but then I had to write it up for this podcast, and I was like, whoa, it actually helps.
When you said your alter ego is Queen Raae and the Nattermob Pirates, I thought you were getting ready to talk about like a D&D campaign that you're a part of. What is Nattermob?
Yeah, so it's it started out with a gang of us meeting on Twitter, and then we were talking on a video chat kind of during the corona on Fridays. We had we had some drinks and we talked about tech, and then that evolved into us wanting to do some live streaming. Well, that evolved, and then we gave ourselves a name, the Natter Pops, because natter or natter in English, I think, means like just chatting or chatting, something like that. And then there was a pops added at the end just to be cute. And then when we wanted to do live streaming, it was supposed to be kind of mob programming. We tested out that for a couple of times, and then I kind of ended up making a coup as queen, and now it's Queen Ray and the Nattermob Pirates. So there's some lore. I've heard like in games and stuff, you have lore, like backstories.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the backstory to that show. But now it's then me and then Paul, who we call the navigator, who decides, or who I decide what we're going to make. Then he figures out how we're going to make it. And then he kind of shows me on stream, and then it's also my partner Ula, who is the host.
Love it.
It's pretty fun. It's fun to just be like, I'm the queen, like giving myself the title. Like nobody else is giving me the title. I just took it.
I mean, I think that's how monarchies are supposed to work, right? Like you just.
I know. I mean, that's basically how they start. So yeah. But that's been like a lot of fun.
That's
and
cool.
It started out just like a fun project, like most things, but we've gotten some traction, and Gatsby has been sharing a lot of what we've been doing, and it just feels right. We're going to take a break over the summer. We're back August 6th. This Friday will be the last one, and then we're back August 6th. But then it felt good to have something in the summer to kind of keep the ball rolling on that whole kind of world that we've ended up creating, I guess, with So keep an eye out on queen.ray.codes, because there's going to be stuff
awesome.
happening.
We'll be sure to link to it. That's great.
Yeah. But we'll see how much I manage. I need to get these features done for POW as well. So I guess I need to do some commit. Yeah, I actually committed. I am in my mastermind group. There's like this show and tell in the wider network on the 25th. And I raised my hand to showcase my new calendar feature. So it's going to get done.
25th of June.
Yes.
10 days from this.
10 days from now. Yes.
Yeah. Get it.
I'm all about those external deadlines.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Benedict,
what are you? No, sorry, go ahead.
Did you set some limits around the side project so it doesn't like get out of hand or actually gets out the door and shipped, or are you just like winging it for now?
So far, it's a little bit of winging it. But it's going to be based around, like we talked about on the streaming show, it's going to be based around me live streaming this summer. So it's playing to my strengths, where I'm not going to be creating a lot of written content. It's going to be like the idea so far, I can, run it by you. It's going to be a weekly challenge where we kind of give a challenge. Like this week, everyone's going to do email capture on their personal site. So these challenges will be in regards to your already existing Gatsby personal sites. That's kind of like the baseline. And then you're going to extend that with serverless functions. So it will be, okay, this week, everybody you're going to collect emails on your personal site and then send it to serverless function and then do something with it, like user list or like another, like it could be a spreadsheet, like that's up to the person. And then I'll live stream a possible solution on one day. And then we're going to have some, I don't have a good name for it, but like group coaching where people can then ask us questions and get help with their solution if they're stuck. And then for the top tier, there will be possible of pair programming with me. And then on Friday, we'll then share the solution, the solution that I kind of went through in the live stream via email. So the idea so far is like it's free to just join the email where you get the challenge and a possible solution, and then it will be paid if you want to join the live session and the group coaching, and then there will be another tier if you want pair programming during the summer. So that's the plan so far. But like all of my content will then be me being live, which I'm pretty comfortable with at the moment. And I will need to code through everything, of course, because these should not be exploratory streams where maybe I can't do it. They need to be, pre-planned, but I won't be writing up like a long tutorial because that would take my whole summer, So we're trying to like make something that I can, if not winging it completely, because I want it to be professional, but it doesn't have to be that it's things that I'm already good at. It's kind of what I'm saying. So it's partly winging it, partly playing to my strengths. And I think it can be super fun and help people get started with functions.
Sounds great. Like looking forward to how it plays out. Like I've been dabbling with the idea of like running a community type of thing with challenges and pair programming, but ultimately I always decided it wasn't for me because I feel like I wouldn't get anything else done.
Yeah, so I'm consciously not making like a Slack community or a Discord community on top of that, because I think that would take a lot of time to manage, and you also have to be like really vigilant if people are harassing other people or things like that. But creating it more like webinar style, then it's only for that hour. I don't have to kind of be online and managing the community aspect of it. So it will be a community per se, because lots of people will be doing it at the same time, but it won't be like an actual like chat community, if that makes sense. But that was long from me. But yeah, I'm very excited about this summer. Like it's that's the problem when you like to new ideas and like creating stuff. Like I want to have new side projects all the time, but I feel like this actually fits into my overall strategy.
Yeah.
Good luck. Benedikt, how are things on your side, man?
Yeah, so I feel like I had the first weekend of actually doing something fun in what feels like months. So we finally had some good weather and like
nice.
Not so much other stuff on our plate, that we were able to like do some nice walks around the new neighborhood and like get out in the sun and get some ice cream and all of that fun stuff we didn't get to do over the last couple of weeks. So it was nice to finally relax a little on a weekend and not like haul boxes or put up furniture or something like that. So I'd call this a success.
That's a win.
How long is it since the move, Benedikt?
It's coming up to like the day where we actually moved is about a month ago. Was about a month ago. But leading up to that, like just finding the new house and packing everything, it feels like it's more like 3 months now of like being busy with this. So yeah, I'm glad we made it through. And this will probably the last time I'm complaining about this. So let's consider that topic done. Anyways, on the user list side, I made some progress on the double opt-in implementation that I mentioned last week.
Yay! I need it. I need it. So yay!
Yeah, so I have a working prototypey version on a branch locally, but I'm not super happy with it. Like I'm not like. It works, but it's kind of hacky and doesn't feel solid. And I'm really worried about like the way it's implemented. It's basically adding another dimension to the entire way user list is handling user data, because now it's like an additional state of is this person opted in or not. And I'm a little bit worried that either me in a couple of months, or once we hire another developer and have someone else working on this, I or they will just forget about that aspect of all of it and then suddenly start sending messages to users who never opted in or something like that. And with the implementation I have right now, that's a possibility, at least, because you have to really make sure you always think about that use case. But thanks to my mastermind group, with the people I chatted with earlier today, we figured out there's a way in PostgreSQL, and I believe MySQL does this as well, is that you can have database views that are, well, readable for once, but when they are simple enough, you can also write into them and update into them, like just treat them as a regular table. And I wasn't aware that this was possible, but this made me think that right now my active record model is hooked up, like for the active record model for users is just hooked up to a table in the database, but it could as well just be hooked up to a database view, and it would just work the same, but that view could be built in a way that it just doesn't include people who haven't opted in yet. So I'm a little bit excited about this, because that essentially means that I can manage opt-in state in the database, but the Rails application wouldn't know about it until they are really opted in. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I hope this works out. Maybe it's too clever. We'll see.
Oh, I so want to go into the technical details now, but I don't know if that's in scope for this show. I'm like, but yeah,
I'm up for it. Like, if Brian doesn't stop me.
Well, I have no idea about I have no idea about like the Postgres like database layer of it. But I was thinking, when we add users that we know are part of our applications, like, you know, before you had the new newsletter functionality, you just add people, right? And we basically say these people have opted in because we were responsible for them opting in.
Yeah.
Couldn't it kind of be like, you know, when all the people we add, when we add them, either we say that, because I think ConvertKit does that. I can like say that this person has opted in when I add them. Yeah. In a way, yeah. But then if I add them through like that other, so everybody is basically opted in except for the people coming in from the newsletter subscriber kind of endpoint. Is it the same endpoint? Do we add users the same way?
Yeah, that's the other solution I had in mind. Like, basically treat like the forms endpoint that doesn't exist yet, but that they'll have to build soonish, as like the endpoint that does all the double opt-in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that, like, the good thing about that is that it's isolated and doesn't touch the rest of the system, and like this is a separate concern basically, and only once it's double opted in we add them to the rest of the system. But the problem with that is that it doesn't allow us to do, like, as you said, like ConvertKit does it, or I assume most of the other tools do it as well, is you wouldn't be able to manage the opt-in state via the API or via those other endpoints. Because I can see, like,
in ConvertKit, they do it on the form. So you decide if the form if this form needs double opt-in or not. So you can add people to a form that doesn't have a double opt-in, because it's not illegal to do non-double opt-in. It's just like a recommended way to do it when it's talking about newsletters. But they let you switch that on and off on the form. And I don't think like you would need like a forms API like they have, because it's super confusing. But then you would flip the whole logic, because I would like an endpoint where I can like add people and I can say, should this person double opt in or not? And then if I don't say they should double opt in, then they are opted in. But like, it would be better if it was the other way around, right? But that will like, then everybody has to, like, that would be a breaking change, wouldn't it? If it's the other way around. But like, I think you could leave it up to us developers to kind of say that, hey, I'm adding this user and this user needs to double opt in, even if it's just through the regular push API. Because then I could add people from my own kind of, I could write whatever kind of form, add it to your system through your push API, and then I have to flag needs double opt-in, because I, as a developer, is essentially the one responsible for knowing if this person needs to double opt-in or not.
Yeah, I agree. And that's exactly why I think I have to build it the way I'm now thinking about building it, and not have like the double opt-in logic tied to the form, because when you're using the push API, you're not touching the forms at all.
Yeah.
So it has to be part of the core system.
Yeah.
At least that's my thinking right now.
Yeah, because I would like to make my own forms. I always
Yeah,
end
and
up
that's-
making my own forms because the forms you get from these systems are never like the way you want them, right?
Yeah, and I guess that's totally fine, and that's the way I probably use it as well. But people will still want those forms, so
yes,
we
of
also
course
have
they
to
do.
build the forms, but and I guess we could still have like a flag on the form that says like people need to like this is a double opt-in form or this is an opt-in form that just does it automatically.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think on the forms it could be double opt-in always, and if you don't want double opt-in, you build your own form. I think that would be okay. But yeah, sorry, I don't know if this is helpful at all because this is what you talk to your mastermind about. But this is what I like. I want an endpoint, and I want to be able to set it as double opt-in or not.
Yeah, that's likely what it's going to be like. Just a new field on the push API where I can send a flag over or something. And and then we'll probably have to figure out if this person is already in there, and if they are already opted in, we just ignore it or something like that. So
yeah, that would be smart, because then if I have a user who then somehow goes back to the marketing site and signs up for the marketing emails, then they shouldn't need to have like a double opt-in because they're already in there.
Exactly.
Or they should double opt-in for the marketing emails. Oh, this logic! Oh my god, I'm not envious of you. This is
this is kind of complicated.
Oh yeah.
So
we were wondering a couple of weeks ago, why don't all of the competitors just offer this?
Yeah. Maybe there's the answer. But then again, as I said last time, like if it's so complicated, how are you requiring your customers to come up with a solution on their own?
Yeah, exactly. So if you can get it solved, you've got a competitive advantage, and
I hope so. Yeah, but like from past experience, like just having the best solution doesn't bring your customers automatically.
Oh yeah, that is true. That is
very true.
Anyways,
but, sorry, I butchered your update.
No, that's totally fine. I mean, I appreciate the feedback. I mean, this is part of why we're doing this anyways, like just getting more ideas and more things to think about. But I mean, what you said just basically confirms my suspicion of it has to be like in the core thing, cannot be handled separately. Anyways, the other thing, like, because this opt-in stuff is so complicated and I'm not entirely happy with the solution I built, I started procrastinating on it end of last week. Basically had the half-baked solution sitting there and was like, I don't know, I don't like it and I don't have a better idea right now. So instead, I spent some time working on our Zapier integration and just decided to finish it up and submit it for review. And surprisingly, there was like I went through the checklist of like making sure everything's named correctly and have documentation in there, or at least labels correctly, and test it and have like samples set up. And I submitted the app for review, and it says like, this will take at least a week, probably even 2. So I was like, okay, and from past experience, it usually takes 2 or 3 takes to get approved. But surprisingly, just hours after I submitted it, it was approved and added to the public marketplace. So
heck yeah!
We now have a Zapier integration in public beta, and it just works. I guess like it was super easy.
And it worked perfectly on our stream because we did Squarespace to Zapier to user lists on the stream, and it worked super well.
Yeah, so it's working, and apparently, like, I got naming conventions right and stuff like that. So it got approved, and it's now in there. And that gave me enough motivation to keep working on it. And I already have like version 1.1 or whatever in the making that cleans up a few more things and adds new trigger types and stuff like that. So procrastinating had some good effects for once.
Okay. We lost him.
Yeah, Brian's gone.
He's not gone. He's just gone from the recording, FYI, everyone.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah.
He'll be back next week.
Yeah. So I guess that's a perfect way to wrap up this episode as well. Thanks for coming on again, and thanks for sharing your updates.
Well, thank you for having me. It's nice to do these kind of wrap-ups.
This worked surprisingly well. I was a little bit worried that like having 3 people on would be hard to manage and like have a lot of crosstalk, but I guess we figured it out somehow.
I think we almost had too little crosstalk. We'll see what the audience has to say about that.
Maybe, yeah, let's see.
We were being too
anyways,
good.
Have a nice week and talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.